Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is David Brook and I'm a real estate team leader and coach, and I've been selling real estate for over 15 years. I got started into the real estate industry literally by accident. I had no intention of doing it, and I started in as a construction worker and then moved from there into the appraisal field where I learned how to evaluate property. And then from there, I thought that I could absolutely dominate the real estate industry just because I saw real estate agents doing it wrong. Well, I got in and learned the hard way, and now I've put together lots of videos in order to coach agents and help agents not make the same mistakes that I did and actually accelerate their careers faster than it took me. Look, if this has been of value to you, I thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and hit subscribe there and join my channel for a lot more information to help you as a real estate agent grow in your career. It is Thursday at 10 o'clock. It's November 14th. It's time to get into it. I'm super excited today, guys, because we're talking about generating business through contacting people who had a bad experience in the past. And I know that that might not be what you think is the best way to grow your business, but it is proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that people build their business every single day, serving home sellers, generating listings in ways that drive more buyers for themselves. All they have to do, they don't have to buy Zillow. They don't have to buy anything off of any other platform out there. All that they have to do for themselves is notice the people who have raised their hand already and said, I bet I could serve you better. How about you? Could you do that? If someone went through and went to a restaurant and had a really bad experience, would you say, hey, you know what? You should come to my restaurant because I could probably give you a better experience. We have better service. We have better food. We have better drinks. We have better atmosphere. We have better all of those things. Would it be okay to say that? Because the difference is that most real estate agents will completely ignore going after others who have had a bad experience. For what reason? Because of the initial assumption that most people have that someone somewhere disappointed you, so maybe you will disappoint me as well. That's the reason. So I want to encourage you today as I get into this. Think to yourself, do I hate rejection as much as I hate not having a stable flow of leads? Do I hate rejection as much as I hate not having a business that's as consistent as I would love it? Because we all know this one thing. We know this. We would all prefer to have the warm referral that comes from someone who is ready to go, referred from our friends and family, who no doubt is not going to question us left and right. Everyone would love that. We know that. But in the ways to grow your business, I teach 6 different ways in business on how to grow it. Sphere of influence, which we all love, and you guys can get scripts on that. Inside of Real Estate Health and Wealth, there's plenty of scripts. So sphere of influence, online leads. We went over that the other week, talking about how to generate leads off of people who are looking out there curious, just like they would on Amazon, for who's the best real estate agent who I could use, who's got some content out there that's going to resonate with me. Number 3, business to business. Other businesses, we talked about attorneys, we talked about other people who are involved, who are saying to themselves, you know what? I wish that I had someone who I could refer and help grow and bolster my business. So collectively, symbiotically, we can work together. That's business to business. And then after that, of business to business, it's niche groups. We talked about this, how I built my business, working and serving other people in the communities that I was in. And what's your community? But now we get to neighborhood farming. We walk through that with door knocking. And finally, today, we're talking about distress sales. Now, there's so many different kinds. Distress simply means that somebody is under a place in their life where something negative is happening or has happened to them. Now, no one really wants to get involved with, negativity. No one does. I mean, how many times do you want to say, like, I want to get negativity out of my life? And so when you think of the idea of, hey, maybe I could call expired listings, most of the time that's not appealing. It's like, why would I ever do that? Someone's just going to yell at me. Someone's going to tell me, get out of here. Someone's going to swear at me. And if you've ever been in the expired listing lead gen game, you're going to know that that's true. But why? It's not because they're not interested in selling. They are interested in selling. They raised their hand. They signed a document with someone stating, I believe that you're going to sell my house. They had a confidence level, and I'm going to show you this today in the script. I had a confidence level that my property was going to sell. I trusted somebody, and the biggest reason that they are so cranky, so irritable, and so frustrated out of all this process is because trust was broken. So here's my opportunity for you. If you can convey and reconvey the ability, which is tough, to rebuild trust with someone, and validate their concerns as to why that trust was broken, you have an endless stream of leads. Well, why do you think that you have an endless stream of leads? Well, my friends, I want to take you over to, I'll take you over to a dashboard here, which I want to reframe your thought process. Okay. I want to reframe your thought process. This is a view of my MLS. Okay. This is my MLS. Here's new listings that happen every day, back to market, decreases, price increases, etc. Withdrawals, 77 new leads in the last 7 days. 77 new, 11 leads a day. If you want to break it down, can you handle 11 leads a day of people who have raised their hands and said, I would love to sell my house. There's a reason behind it that I've decided to list my property, good, bad, or indifferent, whatever it is. And another 85 people that canceled their listing due to whether it's a disagreement or change of plans or whatever it is. That's a lot of leads that you got staring at your face. So over 150 of them are looking at you in a 7-day basis. Can you handle 150 leads in a week's time? Well, before we get started today, I want to share with you a little story about my own life and what happened with me and how expired listings changed my life. Many of you know this if you've followed me before, that I got started in this business. I made $19,000 within my first year of real estate. Okay. 19 grand. I wasn't doing well. By my second year, third year, a really cool experience happened where I was so frustrated when I worked construction that I felt like my life was going nowhere. I was on a dead end job. All my friends were at college and they were like moving on to bigger and better things. And I remember I was so frustrated. I was building a patio and I slammed the bricks down on the ground. My hands started to bleed because I slammed the brakes against with my fingers in it. I was so angry. I started to cry. It was like really embarrassing because I was so frustrated with life. I was in my younger 20s and I felt like I was going nowhere. Well, years later, as I have my real estate license, as I get from construction into appraising and from appraising into sales, and years later, I walk up those same patio steps and I signed $10 million worth of listings and I left. And it kicked off my career in a huge way. Well, here's the thing, is that I really didn't know what I was doing because I made all that money during that time I represented the subdivision. But once the subdivision ended and that sold out, guess what happened? I had made a bunch of money, hadn't saved for taxes properly. I didn't know what I was doing. And now I didn't have the business that I thought I would have anymore. So what did I do? Well, I was staring at $88,000 worth of back taxes, $30,000 worth of credit card debt. And on top of that, guess what? I had no business. I had a state lien going against my house. It was horribly stressful. So I had to think to myself, did I have money for Zillow leads? Nope. Was there any teams at that point that were rocking around handing out leads? Nope. I didn't know what to do. And so I got myself a real estate coach. When I had no money, I put it on a credit card because I knew for myself, I was going to get depressed. I was going to get frustrated. I was going to talk myself out of doing the job. And the only way that I knew I could get out of this, here, get me on this, was to sell my way out of my problem. I had to sell my way out of my problem. I couldn't get I had no college degree. There were no jobs out there that were going to pay me the dollar per hour that I felt like I needed in order to get me out of the hole that I was in. How could I, even if I was making $30 an hour, $40 an hour, $50 an hour, get out of over $100,000 worth of debt that was facing me like looking down a barrel of a gun? I felt like I was looking down the barrel of a financial gun and I didn't know what to do. So I knew that I had to sell my way out of it. It was do or die. And I didn't have any other leads. So what could I do? I had to call expired listings. And for many of you, you may be in that position and you may not be. But I will tell you that if you want the ability to be able to change your world and you want the ability to be able to get out of the, whatever problems that you're in, perhaps you will consider reframing your mindset to helping people who are actually interested in selling their real estate, but just had a bad experience somewhere else. Would you do it if someone was in the restaurant industry? Would you help them out? Would you say, yeah, my pizza is actually better. You had a really bad experience with that pizza at Domino's or something like that? Oh, no. I won't tell them about my great pizza, my New Haven style pizza. I don't want to be rude because if I called them up and I told them, oh, hey, you know what? You should check out mine. Then they might not want to, or they might be frustrated about their experience because, their night was ruined. They went out on date night for pizza and it was bad. I mean, think about the audacity to that. I don't want to go to any other doctor because one doctor told me something bad. Like, it happens all of the time. People are constantly in this state of going through something in their life that it doesn't happen great here. Trust is somehow broken. How can we reestablish that? So I want to go over the script with you today. If you find value in this, then I want you guys go ahead. You can put it in the chat, whether you're on the Zoom this morning or if you're inside and watching this on Facebook. I'm going to go over the ultimate expired listing script. Now, why do I call it the ultimate expired listing script? Is it literally like unstoppable 100% of the time going to work? No. But what it does do is it brings out the questions that people have and the motivation. Now, like anything with any script that I say, when I mean script, I don't mean you need to follow this to the absolute T. And if you don't, it's not good. No, I want you to take this and I want you to be able to internalize it for yourself. So that way you can be in a position where you know how to pivot through the motivations that people are in. Okay. So our hope here is designed to contact owners of expired listings and get them here ready for this, back on track, back on track. They were on the track to sell, but something happened. They either got bad advice about pricing, bad advice about what they should do in order to sell. That they were served incorrectly when it comes to marketing. Whatever it is, we're addressing concerns that they might have, and we're approaching it by offering solutions. If you can do that as a real estate agent, then yes, you yourself can make a lot of money doing expired listings. I have people on my team. I have friends in the communities who make their entire business off of serving people by getting into expired listings. All right, so let's get into it. What's our objectives? Our objectives is to, like I said right at the start, establish trust. Establish trust. Trust is the basis for every single relationship that you have. If you don't have that in friendship, if you don't have that in your personal life, if you don't have that in business, if you don't have that over the phone, you're not going to get anywhere. We're going to be a non-pushy resource. Position yourself as a real estate expert. Okay. Now, here's the script. I'm going to give you advice as I go along in this process, follow-up things that you can do to help along the way that are not written in here. First one, ready? Here we go. So, hi, this is David Brooke with eXp Realty. I'm calling to see if you'd be interested in selling the property at blank. Okay. I want to start off right to the chase. I don't want to dance around it. I don't want to say I've got a buyer, because you probably don't. I don't want to say, hey, I wanted to let you know that your property's not listed for sale. They probably already got 15 people who called them that morning saying, oh, hey, do you know that your property's not listed? They know that, right? They know that their property's not listed for sale. So where do you find these people? Let's start with that. The first places that you would find them, number one, you could just jump to the MLS like I showed you before. You can find the people there. But then it's like, well, how do I find accurate name, email, phones? I want to give you a couple of resources, and you might want to write them down. Number one, you could use services like Mojo. You can use services like RedX. You can use services like Vulcan 7. You could use another service that I use called PropStream. All of those are pretty good resources. Those are the top four that I would use in order to, find expired listings, name, email, phone, address, that kind of thing. And then you can skip trace to try to find accurate data. Now, I want to be clear. If people have DNCs, don't calls, don't do that, right? It's not really good. I'd recommend that you kind of run it against that. But there's lots of strategies that we can go on in later training sessions on really how to grab people's attention with this. Today, we're going to mainly just focus on the script that we've got going on. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to see if they're still interested. Now, that really aligns with that ALM, attention, location, motivation. I want to grab their attention and their motivation. I want to see if they are still interested in selling. I want to wait for them to respond. Then if your home had sold, where were you planning on moving to? That's yes. Are you still interested? And the second piece to it is, where were you going? And the reason for that is it's going to remind the person in their mind instantaneously, why did I sign on the dotted line with somebody else before? Is it to get to a certain location? Is it to downsize? Is it to upgrade? Whatever it was, whatever the motivation is, then I want to figure out where they're moving. And what I want to do is I want to focus down that path for a little bit, because if I can focus down that path for a little bit, now I have a better opportunity of keeping them down that path. Okay. So once again, I'm not going to just be like, okay, great, and then move on and ask my next question. I'm going to say, okay, great. What takes you there? So if the person says, well, if I could move down to Florida, it would be cheaper living and I would be in a position where I could have a better opportunity for a job. And you know what? I really like the weather down there, whatever it is. Now, okay, we can, great. Now, once again, you don't need to follow that script immediately and just jump into the next thing. You're not a robot. Maybe you hang on that for a little bit. Oh, that's really interesting. Tell me about Florida. Where in Florida were you going? Oh, what's down there? Oh, I got a friend that goes down there. Where do you vacation there? Awesome. Yeah. Hey, what do you think of that? You know, the weather. I mean, it's like 73 degrees, and right now it's 39 degrees here in New England. So whatever that is, you're building that trust there for them. Because the longer that you talk with them on the phone, the more that you keep building that rapport, the likelihood that they open up and talk with you is present. So now we're going to wait for the prospect to respond. And then we're going to say, look, in an ideal situation, whatever their name is, and I would encourage you, repeat people's names often in a conversation. When you say, hey, like I said, David, every time you say somebody's name like that, it's a little psychological thing that kind of like builds it up. You're not just somebody who I'm saying this to. You are a real human. You're a person. I'm having a conversation with you, which is why you insert somebody's name into that conversation. So, hey, in an ideal situation, David, how soon would you want to be there? So now we've said, here's the ideal outcome. This is what you're trying to tackle. Ideal outcome, where you want to go. And then what you're going to say is, how soon would you like your ideal outcome to occur? That's subconsciously what you're saying to the person. So remember, someone signed on a dotted line that said, I would love to sell my property. I would love to sell my property. And now all of a sudden you say, how soon would you like your ideal outcome to occur? Okay. How soon would you like your ideal outcome to occur? Now what you're going to do is you're going to repeat back to them. It shows that you're active listening. Okay. So if I'm hearing you right, David, you wanted to move down to Florida. You wanted to get away from this crazy New England weather. You wanted to be in a place which is a little more sunny every day, etc. What do you think stopped your home from selling last time? Now you want to take it again. This is all subconscious conversation that you're having. This is how you do sales. You say, hey, why'd you want to sell your house in the first place? Oh, I wanted to do this. Okay. What held you up from doing that last time? Oh, what held me up? And then you're able to say it. Well, now you could let them vent, whatever it is. And here's what you're going to say. From the last time selling, was it listed for the price, the condition, or the agent's marketing and efforts? Now, why I want to do this is because I want to position myself. To say, well, was it the price or was it the condition? It probably is, guys. Let's be honest. Most of the time it's price and condition that moves that stuff. But the agent's marketing efforts is going to be a huge play in it. If their efforts do not align to what the market needs, great. That's probably why it didn't sell. But most of the time it's just due to their advice and the way they approach the efforts. What's the prospect going to say? It's the agent. It's the agent. It's not my property. They didn't understand it. They didn't represent it well. My price is great. My condition's fine. It's the agent. So as soon as they do that, they're highlighting the trust factor. By the way, David, that you're calling me right now, my agent, the trust factor that I have with him or her is low, not good, etc. Now, is this in all cases? No. Some people will say, I'm going to still list with the same person. It was just this or that or whatever it is. I just want to say, look, probably not. We can work through that with another script, but in the event that they say, I want to list with the same person, the script is, great, what are they going to do this time that they should have done last time? Right. And then you kind of roll it from there. Okay. So then what you're going to do is you're going to wait for them to respond, which you did here. And now it's going to say, okay, I understand. On a scale of 1 to 10, how certain were you? Or in other words, how much trust did you have that their home would sell? What you want to say is you want to get them to say, yeah, it's a high number, because otherwise they wouldn't have signed on the dotted line. If they say, oh yeah, it was a 2, I didn't think it would sell anyways. Okay, great. Now we can go back to motivation. So did you really want to move to Florida? And if they say, no, I really didn't want to, now we're getting somewhere. But if they say, yeah, it was 8, 9, 10, 7, 8, 9, 10, any of those, then it's like, okay, so you were pretty certain. And then you want to ask them, well, how did you happen to pick the last agent that you listed with? Oh, they were recommended to me by a friend. Oh, I looked them up online. Oh, I did this. And when you're saying that, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get that person to understand, oh, I looked them up online. I saw that they were local. Okay, so if you're not local, so is that the best way to pick an agent? Oh, they were recommended by a friend. Oh, okay, so is that the best way? You want to segment the way that they did it from who you are. You want to basically say, listen, you picked an agent that was recommended by a friend. Is that the best way to do it? Like, probably not. You want to find an agent who's proactive in their marketing, like myself. You want to find an agent who's actually doing their job every day and working, right? So that's how you're going to differentiate yourself. Okay. You don't have to say, I'm the number one agent in town. I run the number one team in my state. You don't have to say any of that. All you have to say is, well, how'd you pick them last time? It's like, well, I looked online. Okay, great. Well, I found the number one agent in my town. Okay, great. Oh, I found this person there. Okay, great. So if you found that way, if that didn't work, what's another option? You would probably want someone who is actually going to work as hard as possible for you. It gives you an open door. The next one is going to be, hey, what did you like about their marketing strategy? So what you want to do is you don't want to bash anybody. You actually want to start with what did you like? Because what they're probably going to say is like, well, I like their photos and I like their this and I like their that. So you're not picking apart any of that. And if they're like super down on it, they're like, I didn't like anything. Great. Now that you've opened the door that they didn't do anything of what you liked. So now it's the thought process is, okay, I like their photos. I like that. Great. But now you get to open it up and ask this question. If you had some feedback on why the home didn't sell, what do you feel that they should have done? Here it is, should have done in order to get the home sold and to get you onto your next home. Now they're going to outline for you. Well, I think they should have done, some more open houses, or I think they should have, I don't know. I think they should have, actually door knocked, or I think they should have sent out mailers, or I think they should have done whatever it is. Now that gives you the opportunity. Can I serve that need? Once again, I want to segment this for you in your mind. If you went to a restaurant and you had a bad experience and someone was like, hey, why'd you have a bad experience at that restaurant? And they were like, well, because, the service took a long time. Would you be like, oh gosh, I guess I can't serve you? No, you'd be like, no, the service at my restaurant's freaking fantastic. Like, we're constantly attentive. Your water's always filled. I'm always asking if you want another drink. I'm always asking if you want more food. I'm always asking for this. That's the idea behind this. Okay. All right. Next. Now we're going to get into, and what will you expect differently from the next agent that you choose, which is just going to line up directly from what they just said right there. Now you're going to be in the position where it's like, hey, I'd like to apply for the job of selling your home. Are you familiar with the techniques that we use to sell over 500 homes a year? Now, what I encourage you to do is your team might not sell 500 homes a year or whatever it is that we sell every single year, right? Some years we sell 600, some years we sell over 400 or whatever. Whatever that is, you don't have to insert that. You could insert with your brokerage sales, right? Over 20,000 homes a year. I don't know, whatever your brokerage sells. Are you familiar with the techniques? In which case, if you are familiar with the techniques that your team uses or your brokerage uses, now that's where you can tee that up. And they're like, well, no, yada, yada. Okay. I'd like to help you by doing this two things. First, what I'd like to do is send you the resource on how you can get your home. Now, this is going to be a little bit different for most people who are calling them. You're going to send them a deliverable right up front that they get to touch, hold, and feel. So you're not asking for the appointment immediately. Okay. You're not asking for the appointment. You're instantly extending something to them for free, which instantly builds into their little rapport bank account that says, this person's trying to give me something in order to help me. Now, once they hear that, it's like, okay, cool. You're going to get me a resource. You can text that. Some people do that in a video through YouTube. Some people I've seen before that, quick, hey, can I confirm your email? Something, text, email, video text, whatever it is, show them the resource. We have like a how we sell homes guide, which has 14 different ways that we sell homes. We're going to send that right on over. We might send that over. Hey, I noticed that you didn't have any disclosures on your website on your listing last time. Let me send that over to you. If you're dealing with for sale by owners or someone like that, let me help you with that. You're going to send something over to say, I want to help you first, which is going to build that rapport. The second thing that I want to do is I want to set time for my team to meet with you and review your home's features and our marketing plan to get you the best price for your home. Do mornings or afternoons work better? The reason I want to say that is because I want to say, are you okay with that? They're going to say no. People love to say no. So instead, I'm going to say, do mornings or afternoons or mornings work better for you? In this way, I'm going to get them to say mornings or afternoon. And if they have a huge problem with it, like, oh, I'm not ready to meet or I'm not anything, now we can go back to attention, location, motivation. We can move through that. If you guys have not seen that script, I really encourage you to go back and watch that video. Then what we're going to do is we're going to get back into setting the appointment time and setting any resources that you have. All right. Now, I don't have time right now. Unfortunately, we've got all of these objections that are listed out. So if you want to learn to handle the objections of like, let me just go through a couple of these just so you can see. Okay. Here's the objections. I'm going to stay with the same agent, or I'm going to, whatever it is, I'm going to sell it myself for sale by owner, whatever that is. Right. Then in that regard, you can download this free guide. We're going to give that to you. It's right inside of your real estate health and wealth. You can download it right there. All right. So super easy resources for you guys. I hope this is very helpful. The last thing I want to do is remind you guys about the upcoming valuation. Masterclass. If you've not seen any of my posts inside of Real Estate Health and Wealth for it, I would strongly encourage you to go. No matter what brokerage I've ever been a part of, this is a sold out class. I'm a certified real estate appraiser, and I've been guiding people through how to rebut appraisals, how to actually speak to appraisers in a way that they respect and understand, how to read appraisal reports that make sense so that you can navigate it with your clients, how to handle it in an increasing or a decreasing or a stable market, how to work it through in the winter times with summer comps, or how to work it in the summertime with spring comps. I'll teach you all of that in this masterclass that's upcoming. There's going to be more details which are posted here in the chat and on Facebook in our Real Estate Health and Wealth group. So if you guys have not signed up for that, I'd really encourage you to do that. We're going to do that at an 11 o'clock time frame rather than a 10 o'clock time frame, just to allow for more people who watch on the West Coast as well, just because it's a little bit early for them at 10 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock for them. So I'm really excited for that. Thank you guys for tuning in and joining. I can't wait for that. If not, I hope you guys have an amazing Thanksgiving, and we will see you soon. Hey, if that was a helpful video, keep watching for more content that I produce every single week about how to accelerate your career as a real estate agent or how to grow a profitable real estate team.